Hey, we want to take a second to thank our sponsors, our friends over at Marcus Theaters, the Palace Cinema here in Sun Prairie. It's truly the place to watch movies. Come in and be greeted by a friendly face when you enter. Come get your tickets. Then make sure to stop by the concession stand to get some delicious refreshments.
Here you go.
Thank you. Then settle into a dream lounger, sit back, relax, put your feet up, and enjoy the show. Hey, it's Real Reviews. Well, hello there, and welcome back to Real Reviews. I'm Jameson Rabbit, and the man seated next to me, well, you know him and love him, it's Steve Sabatke. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, glad to be back.
It's been about a month since we were last together.
Seems much longer than that.
Does it?
Yeah, I was so much younger back then.
Oh, weren't we both? Yeah.
Look how I've aged.
we have a healthy glow to us this month. It's been a month since we were together. We saw a handful of movies that we're going to talk about. I think
Saw a few.
we have our usual about 8 movies to discuss. And some that we both saw, some that we saw separately. But I'm going to get us started with the movie that I believe we both saw. It was kind of the big movie a few weeks ago. And it is Michael from director Antoine Fuqua. It is a jukebox musical about the king of pop, from childhood through his rise in fame to becoming, well, basically the most famous person in the world. We see the demanding Joseph, his father, of course, who in this film was played by Coleman Domingo, pushing his 5 sons to be his moneymakers, focusing especially on how he used intimidation, both verbally and physically, especially with the youngest child, Michael. Michael, by the way, you see right there, is played by Jafar Jackson, who's Jermaine's son, Michael's nephew. Joe has a vision for these 5 boys, and no one and nothing is going to get in the way with it, least of all wife Catherine, played by Nia Long. And as Michael separates himself from the brothers, going solo, finding huge success, he also finds himself unable to free himself from his father. But with the help of his bodyguard, Bill, and others who protect him, he is somehow able to extricate himself. But this film has caused a lot of controversy and a lot of discussion because Michael had a complicated life and legacy with allegations and such. And Antoine Fuqua, if there's one thing he loves, it's making movies with music, about music, with music as kind of the star of it. And he chose here, I think very smartly, to focus his story on Michael up through Thriller and ending at the Bad Tour.
1988.
88.
Yeah.
He had to navigate legalities and a tainted legacy, but I think making this movie focused on the music and the performances was smart, because there's a lot of things you got to jump through, and I thought it was smart to end where he did and not have to deal with a lot of that stuff. Now, a lot of people complain because he was kind of whitewashed, but I'm curious what you think of how Michael was handled and your thoughts on the film.
Oh, how much time do we have to
We
talk
got all
about
day.
this one?
We got all day.
I'm almost afraid to even say anything about it,
Nope.
because there's backlash if you love it, and there's backlash if you don't love it.
I got strong feelings about this movie.
You described it as a jukebox musical. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I wanted more than that, and to me, this was even from that time period. This was such a sanitized, family-approved version of his life during those years. It was like watching a made-for-TV movie in the 80s.
Yeah.
And if you're a fan of his music, you're going to love this. It's a 27-minute greatest hits video. But if you're looking for a deep dive into Michael Jackson's life and into what made him tick, warts and all, this is a big disappointment.
We're never going to get that. There's so many legalities.
Yeah, there is, and most of the producers of this film were members of his family,
Right.
and his entourage. I mean, there's so many questions about Michael Jackson's life that just aren't even touched here. The brothers, they're treated like extras.
I mean, you really don't even, their names aren't even mentioned for
You
the
don't
most
even
part.
know who they are.
But I think it was done on purpose. This isn't, we had a Lifetime movie called The Jacksons that dealt more.
The TV series?
Yes.
Yeah.
This was Michael, The focus is Michael. The other guys are all an amalgamation of a band behind him.
but they played a major role in his life.
You wouldn't know who Tito was unless he was wearing a hat that said Tito on it.
Yeah. The only sister that was shown was LaToya. I think Janet politely declined.
Not so politely. She demanded she not be part of this movie.
Oh, she demanded. Okay,
Yes.
well, and then Reeby's not in here.
Yeah.
It portrays him as being essentially friendless. However, one of his closest friends during that time was Brooke Shields. She's not mentioned. There's nothing about Diana Ross in this, and she did have an influence.
There's some legal-ish entanglements with that, too.
Yeah, and 1978, he, like it or not, he was in The Wiz, the movie. Nothing about that. I'm a music nerd. There was so much musically in this movie that drove me crazy. They are shown singing "Never Can Say Goodbye," the Jackson 5 in their early years in the 60s.
When did that come out?
That song didn't come out till 1971.
Yep.
And it was originally written and intended for the Supremes. The movie made it look like his first solo album was Off the Wall. That's not right. He released 4 solo albums on Motown before that. Remember Rockin' Robin?
No.
I have no complaints about Jafar Jackson as Michael Jackson. I mean, I thought he was great.
I thought he was a standout. Like
In the music part of it.
captured
but
the
he wasn't really
physicality.
given a heck of a lot to do other than that.
So he's lucky that you can use heavy makeup on him as an actor, and it works because that was Michael. You know, Michael's face changed constantly, and so doing things to Jafar's face to make him look like Michael holds up. I thought he did great with the physicality in the performances.
Yeah, he did.
You could tell he worked hard. There were moments where I'm like, had to remind myself, like, oh yeah, I mean, he kind of captured the aura of his uncle for a moment there.
Michael Jackson was born the same year that I was.
Wow.
We're the
Happy
sa-
birthday.
I actually wanted to see more of the young actor who played the
He was good, too.
young Michael Jackson with the Jackson 5. Because I remember when I first saw them, I might have been on Ed Sullivan, and I thought, wow, that was a sound I had never heard before. That was something I had never seen before. The early years are really just kind of a footnote in this movie.
Yeah.
Coleman Domingo. He's a great actor. He's
Yes,
one of
he
our
is.
greatest actors working right now. But his performance as Joseph Jackson, the father, and people are going to hate this. I thought it was pretty generic.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked him as it. He was menacing enough.
I really didn't think his performance was all that different from the performance of, I gotta look at his name. Remember Lawrence Hilton Jacobs as Joseph Jackson in the TV series The Jacksons of
Okay.
American Dream.
Okay, yeah, I can picture
Remember
him.
Lawrence Hilton Jacobs?
picture him,
Remember who he played? What he was famous for?
No.
Freddie Boom Boom Washington and Welcome Back
Hi
Kotter.
there. Hello there.
I mean, I just didn't see a lot of difference in the performances between the two, other than the fact they just played Joseph Jackson
mean,
as
that's-
this really bad dude,
That's
which
kind
he
of
was.
The fault of this movie, though,
Yeah.
is like, it wasn't. I have conflicting emotions. As people ask me what I thought about this movie, I said, I don't think it's a good movie, but I really enjoyed it. I went and saw this movie 1.5 times.
Did you really?
Yeah, I saw it. I couldn't get it out of my head. I went a couple days later to go see a different film that we're going to review, and I was like, well, I got time. I'm going to catch the last hour of Michael again. And the last hour is basically a greatest hits
It is.
montage of his performances in music videos, and I loved it because, like I said, Jafar captures Michael's physicality on stage, and I love those performances. You know, I walked in, he was just doing the Beat It on the awards show. I'm like, the Motown 50th, like, great, it's perfect time to walk into a movie.
I just wanted to. He is such a icon and is such a complex individual, and I wanted to know more about him. I want to know, why did he want all these wild animals at his house? Why did he have this obsession with being childlike and going to toy stores and buying all these toys? You know, it's just not there.
Yeah, they treaded pretty lightly on all of that. Also, no Weird Al in this movie. No mention of Weird Al, who is making huge.
Why would Weird Al be mentioned? What am I
Because
missing?
when Beat It came out, he came out with Eat It, and it was the first parody that caused massive legal issues of,
Okay.
can you do this? Bad came out, he comes out with Fat. I mean, Weird Al was making his career, huge gains in his career off the back of Michael Jackson. Bring Daniel Radcliffe back as Weird Al from the Weird Al movie. Let's do that. Look, I have myself and thousands, millions of other people loved Michael Jackson growing up, right? In the 80s, Thriller was the first album I bought with my own money. I remember going to Shopko with my $3.75 and buying Thriller. And
that was a long time ago.
it was. And I'm not the only one who had a white glove dancing in my bedroom playing Thriller over and over again. So
is there video of that somewhere?
I'm sure there is.
Can we roll that
drop
right
that
now?
in now. We have a clip.
Yeah, but see, I'm a lot older, and the later Michael Jackson from Off the Wall on, I wasn't real crazy about it. I was really more into the Jackson.
You're coming at this from two different angles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm white glove, red leather jacket, Michael Jackson. That's my nostalgia, and he was the greatest entertainer. My grandma knew Michael Jackson's name.
Yeah.
He was the most famous person in the world.
Yeah, you're right.
And I enjoyed that parts of it. There's a fun little cameo in here from a guy who, it seems to be a runner now in every music biopic that's come out recently. He has to make an appearance.
You texted me after you saw the film and said there's a fun cameo, and then I saw it a couple weeks after you did.
Yeah.
And I'm spending the whole movie trying to find this cameo, and I couldn't find it until I looked at the credits afterwards, and I went, that was him?
He always plays a music exec.
Can we say who it is?
Bohemian Rhapsody and in
Can we say who
Elton
it is?
John, Mike Myers.
Yeah, I didn't know it was him.
Once
until I saw
again,
the credits.
plays a music exec
And
who
I
says,
thought to
"We'll never do
myself,
it, baby."
That was the fun cameo?
It's so weird that he's just showing up in all the music videos. So look, here's the thing. I am usually, you know this, I am usually very tough on music biopics.
Oh, you
I
hate
hate
'em.
music biopics.
We're going to be on opposite ends on this one.
But I chose with this one to focus on what it was and not what it wasn't. Because what it wasn't was a good movie. What it was a lot of fun for me and a great nostalgia. And so maybe I'm taking the opposite tack that I took with your beloved Bob Dylan movie.
Complete unknown.
Because I can't defend this being a good movie. But
For me, a good music biopic tells me something about the subject that I didn't know. And I didn't see that here.
And you normally have the rise and fall and then the rise again, right?
Yep.
The comeback. Mm-hmm. This was just a constant, he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it cuts off at like the height of his career. And now there's been talk of, Antoine Fuqua says, I'm ready to do a second one. Pick up it bad. Then we got to deal with the real issues, the real hard issues.
We'll see.
The multiple marriages, the hanging the baby off the balcony, the allegations. All of these things, when he turned into a white woman, we have to handle all these things. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that the legalities will tie that up forever. But
Probably.
yeah. All right. What did you end up giving Michael?
I'm sorry. 2 stars.
Okay.
I just...
Not as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I just wasn't real thrilled by it.
I get what you did there. Well, this movie made me feel a certain way, and I had fun with it.
Who knew about you and Michael Jackson?
I love Michael Jackson, man. Love that early 80s, mid 80s Michael. And I gave this movie a fun 3.5-star rating. If you don't have the nostalgic feelings toward it, it's a terrible movie as far as like a biopic goes. But Jafar Jackson, great job. Did his uncle proud. Probably more talented than Jermaine. All right, moving on.
The next one is the Beatles. So that's the next one.
Oh boy, we're gonna have to argue about that one.
4 different movies.
All right. Let's get into what else you have. You have a movie starring one huge Jackman. What do you have?
The Sheep Detectives, directed by Kyle Balda, and the story takes place in the English village of Denbrook, where shepherd George Hardy, who's played by Hugh Jackman, tends to his flock of overly cute sheep and ends each day by reading murder mysteries to them. And while George thinks that the sheep don't understand what he's talking about, the sheep do discuss what was read to them in the barn after George turns in for the night. And the sheep themselves, boy, they lead a pretty good life. They believe that death is only a concept that exists in the murder mysteries, that when sheep do reach the end of their lives, they turn into clouds. When faced with an uncomfortable situation, the sheep can will themselves to forget. Everything is great, all is well, and you didn't see this, did you?
I did not know.
You have something against sheep?
Yeah, I do. A real issue. They know what they did.
But also, all is well until one day the sheep wake up to find George lying on the ground outside his trailer dead. And
My God.
I'm not giving anything away here because that's in the trailers for the movie. So while the village's only police officer, the inept officer Tim Derry, played by Nicholas Brown, believes that George died of natural causes, the sheep, led by Lily, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Mopple, Chris O'Dowd, and the reclusive Sebastian, Bryan Cranston, they all believe that George was murdered and decide to solve the mystery on their own. Suspects include another shepherd whose own flock aren't as happy as George's flock, the town butcher, a nosy innkeeper, a rookie reporter, and George's estranged daughter, who's played by Molly Gordon. This movie shines when the sheep, who, by the way, look pretty amazing,
Okay.
are in the forefront. They're funny, they're entertaining. There's a funny bit when the sheep cross a paved road for the very first time. I enjoyed this more when the focus was on them. It loses steam when the humans take over. Other than Molly Gordon, who plays the daughter, like I mentioned, there's not an interesting character in the bunch. And that includes a very, minor throwaway role of George's attorney, played by Emma Thompson.
Oh, okay.
She's got a check-cashing performance here. There's enough going on here to keep adults entertained. The movie does lag at times. Very young kids may lose interest as the sheep and the humans try to solve the mystery. And I don't know, there's the themes of murder and death. The theme of death is pretty prevalent in this story. It may also be a drawback for the younger kids. But you know what? It's good to see a solid PG-rated film that can appeal to both adults and youth. It doesn't try to dumb down anything. I appreciated that. I have to admit my eyes did well up a bit
I was gonna
at
ask,
the end.
when
They
did you
always
cry?
do. Get animals, and I'm done. It did remind me of Babe.
Okay.
I loved Babe. It's one of
yeah.
my all-time favorite films. There hasn't really been anything like Babe since then, and I'm not talking about the sequel. It's not up to that level of excellence, but it's worth seeing.
So what do you end up giving Sheep Detectives?
3 stars.
So I heard it being sold as the new Paddington type of movie. Now that is high praise. Paddington is one of the greats in this category.
And when I wrote about this, I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen all the Paddingtons.
Yeah,
Paddingtons
I mean,
are good.
that first Paddington was
Yeah.
like 5 stars for me. And yeah, I know the studio was like, hey, if you love Paddington, you're gonna love this. Like, wow, that's a high bar. But
I don't know if it gets up to that level either.
well, I mean, it sounds like it's just not as accessible for the younger ones as
No.
that. All right. Interesting. All right. I have a.
But they're so cute. They really are.
Speaking of murder and mayhem, I have a film that I went and saw called Over Your Dead Body from director Jorma Taccone.
Is that rated PG?
I don't think so. Stars Jason Segel and Samara Weaving as married couple Dan and Lisa. Dan is a director who has been in a long fallow period in his career, reduced to shooting pop-up ads. He is miserable in life. He is married to Lisa, an aspiring actress that he seems to despise, partially because he thinks she lacks talent, and partially probably because her career seems to be on the upswing while his is anything but. And he's hit a mental breaking point where he's decided to take her up to a secluded cabin for a weekend, kill her, and stage it as a hiking accident. Unfortunately, Lisa has the same idea and seems to be one step ahead of Dan. And there's a revelation about a sizable insurance payout that each of them is looking to gain when the other one unfortunately passes from their accident. And as they kind of battle each other all across this secluded cabin for who's going to finally get the kill, they are surprised when a trio of bad guys comes crashing through the ceiling of this cabin, where escaped convicts Pete and Todd, played by Timothy Olyphant and former UFC fighter Keith Jardine, as well as prison guard Allegra, played by Juliette Lewis, who helped them escape and has a thing for Pete. They've been hiding out in the attic of this cabin, and now they, having overheard a discussion of a large dollar amount being discussed, they take the couple captive. And what results then is some brutal yet comedic events, as psychopath Pete will go to any lengths to get the money. And it is tough to watch at points, the lengths that Timothy Olyphant's character is willing to go to. And it's a fun horror comedy from director Jorma Taccone, who's the director of MacGruber and part of the Lonely Island Boys. Kind of steps outside his wheelhouse of straight comedy. And the violence and the gore go over the top at times, kind of this steadily rising series of unfortunate events that happens. Samara Weaving, who maybe I was talking about in the one of the recent episodes.
Wasn't she in Ready or Not 2?
She was in Ready or Not
Yeah,
2. She was also
we talked
in.
about that.
She was in one that I just saw. Oh boy, I feel like I've reviewed a movie of hers every month. She's this generation scream queen. She does it again here, but I think I really enjoyed is she gets to use her natural accent in this movie instead of having to take on a flat American accent. She gets to use hers, which is nice. Jason Segel, who's an actor I normally don't care for.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like he just kind of
like
plays
him.
the same guy in everything, and he plays the schlub well enough in this movie. But Timothy Olyphant
like
is
schlubs.
yeah, Timothy Olyphant is the star here. As both menacing and funny, he is full on crazy in this movie. Juliette Lewis, she kind of plays a similar role to movies I've seen her in the past. Just screaming things.
Yeah.
I was not a fan. There's a specific editing technique that was used throughout this movie that I think it always feels cheap, and I hate it. And because of it, there are also a few annoying continuity errors that occur because of this editing technique, and that drove me nuts. But it's a fun, comedic horror film, pretty gory stuff, and I enjoyed it for the most part. You'd love it. There's lots of blood.
Oh, sounds like a real date night movie.
Noses are being bitten off. I mean, it's a good time. Yeah. But I end up giving Over Your Dead Body a very strong 3 out of 5 stars. It's a fun one. Unfortunately, it came and went in theaters.
Yeah, it lasted for about a week.
Yeah, it was in and out in a week. And so this is one that, when it eventually hits streaming in a few weeks, it's worth your time. Check it out.
Yeah,
All right.
okay.
You have a film that we both saw. We did actually see more than one movie together. What do you have for us?
Am I talking about Devil Wears Prada 2?
You sure are.
All right, Devil Wears Prada 2, directed by David Frankel, who directed the first movie in 2006.
Wow.
20 years later, Anne Hathaway's back as Andy Sachs. She's now a respected journalist in New York who, on the day she gets a major award, learns by text that she and her newsroom colleagues have all been laid off. Another media publication bites the dust. So Meryl Streep, back as Miranda Priestley, the editor-in-chief of the fashion magazine Runway. And while Miranda may appear to be a little softer around the edges this time, she shows some reluctance for embracing the digital landscape of magazines. A great quote from the movie is, "The September issue is so thin you can practically floss with it." And she has to be reminded constantly about saying things that are not HR friendly. But she's no longer allowed to throw her coats at her assistants. And the movie starts with Miranda being under fire for failing to vet a story in the magazine about a brand that uses sweatshop labor, so she's in a bit of trouble over that. So in a believe it or not moment, Irv Raditz, the owner of the Runway parent company, played again by Tiber Feldman, who he's the only one who looks like he's aged in the last 20 years, hires Andy as the magazine's features editor to save the magazine and Miranda's reputation. And guess what? The gang is all back, including Stanley Tucci as Nigel, Miranda's closest associate. Emily Blunt is back as Emily, her former first assistant. She's now a senior executive at Dior, which is a key advertiser. Emily Blunt has a much bigger part because she's a much bigger star now.
Yes.
So I saw Devil Wears Prada in the theater, the first one, when it first came out in 2006. I was 48 years old back then. You were what, 12?
I was in my 20s.
And I don't remember walking out of the theater saying to myself, boy, I hope they do a sequel.
Really?
I mean, I thought at the time, fun and entertaining, you know, maybe I'll see it again, and that was about it. But having said that, this movie ended up actually being better than I thought it would be. It got off to a bit of a shaky start, but I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Yeah, the original film, I feel like gets better every time I rewatch it. I've rewatched it a few times, including the day before I went to see this one.
Well, I did too, because it was like on cable television all over the place.
And I feel like I enjoy it more and more. And that kind of led to excitement and also trepidation for me going into the second one. I'm like, these legacy sequels never pan out. We saw so many bad ones last year, Spinal Tap 2 and such. But what I got was enjoyment being back with these characters. I liked being back in this universe with them. And they felt true to who they were, and the 20-year progression of where their characters were felt right to me. This film wasn't a film just full of callbacks and recycled jokes from the first one. We brought Stanley Tucci back, who I love. He's great.
Oh, I love him.
And he's actually given a little story arc in here.
Yeah, a little more.
But this film lives or dies with the Miranda-Andy dynamic, and I thought it worked really well in here. And I liked getting, like you said, more Emily Blunt character. I liked getting more of her, but I liked a lot of it. I had a couple of things that drove me nuts. My one big ick with these legacy sequels is something that we've seen way too many times, and it's the egregious number of pointless cameos.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking
That's
at
first
Happy
on
Gilmore.
my bullet point list.
I'm looking at Happy Gilmore 2 when I think of this. That made an entire movie out of egregious cameos. There's one scene in here where it's basically just famous people, just saying famous people's names and a quick glimpse of them.
The party?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's like,
Rory McIlroy.
Yeah, just saying people's names and quick glimpse. I'm like, this
Carl
is...
Anthony Towns in the mix.
That
why are
scene
you in
was
this
like,
film?
this was just made to jam in all these people's names. That's it. But thankfully, that was it. It didn't get too bogged down in it and feel too gross with those cameos. Another drawback to me, and this is just personal taste, is having BJ Novak on my screen at any times, because that anywhere my eyeballs are looking and BJ Novak is in front of him, it makes me angry.
You
because
don't like him?
He's a vacuum of charisma. And this film is filled with charismatic actresses and actors. And I was worried that he would derail the fun because he has Hollywood's most punchable face. And fortunately, he was not able to derail the fun for me. I still enjoyed it because what I really liked about this movie was there was like a heist-like nature to the final act of this film. In where it had to go.
Yeah.
We got to get the team together.
It was kind of like that in the first one, though.
It was, and I love that too. And the whole discussion, the best part of this film, I thought, was the discussion of where journalism and physical media are at today.
Well, that's what I like, because the first film was fashion.
Yep.
All right. Took shots at fashion.
And
but
we're
this
a couple
one
of clothes horses here.
This was more about the current state of print media and where that's at
Right
now.
And I thought it was really smart to do it that way.
Yeah, it was. I've got other bullet points here. Forgettable performance from Kenneth Branagh as Miranda's husband. They try to fire up a romance between Andy and a housing developer that went
anywhere with me.
Nowhere. If you're looking for Andy's boyfriend from the first movie, who was played by Adrian Grenier, he's not in this.
No.
Although he has made a funny commercial about not being in the film. Justin Theroux plays a goofy, unbelievable tech billionaire who's dating Emily.
He's like a cartoon character in this movie.
Yeah, he is. I thought the twist at the end kind of was too happy and too optimistic, given
it's
what
kind of
they
where
were
it had
trying.
to go, though.
Yeah. But you know what? This movie made me fall in love again with Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Not in a creepy way.
No,
but
she's great.
She's made more than a few clunkers in the last 20 years. Can you say The Idea of You?
Oh, yeah.
This is one of her signature roles, and she fits into it seamlessly. She was great in the first movie. She didn't lose a step in this one. This is the year of Anne Hathaway. We were talking about this before we started doing the show. She's got like 5 movies this year, including
The next
this
movie to
one.
review is a Anne Hathaway movie.
This is going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And I really liked her in this again.
I did too. Yeah, she was really enjoyable. What did you end up giving The Devil Wears Prada 2?
I gave it 3 stars. I don't want to see a Devil Wears Prada 3.
Especially not 20 years from now.
I don't think I'll be around, but 3 stars.
I gave it 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really liked that first one quite a bit.
Coming off as the grouch here.
Yeah, come on, man. Start liking movies again. All right, moving forward, a little teaser. It's another Anne Hathaway film. This time it's Mother Mary from director David Lowery. Mother Mary is an iconic pop diva played by Anne Hathaway, who is coming off a traumatic world tour and a freak accident that has her doubting herself and her impact in the music industry. She's facing an existential crisis and just beaten down physically and, more important, psychologically after everything. She seems to be playing almost a Lady Gaga type of pop diva, as she attempts to mount a comeback that could make or break her career at this point, debuting a new single and facing a lot of pressure that she's put on herself to reinvent herself both musically and as a fashion icon. She shows up on the steps of a Gothic mansion where her former creative collaborator, lover, and the person who was seemingly her musical and creative muse lives. This is a lady named Sam, played by Michaela Cole. Sam has helped craft her image that made her a singular force, but there was a painful falling out after Mary took credit for everything that Sam had done. And Mary is desperate for a new look, one that feels like her, that she can't describe, and she needs it in 3 days. And Sam is not going to make it easy on her. She resents Mary. She has cut her out of her life. She refuses to listen to her music, but she agrees to create the career-defining look for her. And she creates this new look, and as it happens, the two women spend a long night in this dark Gothic mansion, rehashing their relationship, their shared pain that they caused each other. And at some point, it veers off into a supernatural thriller as a seance reveals some really strange things. And this movie is like a movie of two different halves. It's an allegory of how fame and celebrity culture kind of takes its toll and exacts a heavy price on one's soul. And there's some religious elements in this thriller. There's great back and forth dialogue between Mary and Sam, and for the majority of the film, it's just a two-hander between the two of them, with an assistant coming and going, but it's a lot of them just rehashing things. And some intense things start to happen in this movie. At one point, Sam demands, as part of her agreement to make this new look for Mary, she demands, you have to dance without your music so I can watch you move. And it's a stunning scene, watching Anne Hathaway out there just doing this free-form dance, no music, super awkward.
Wow. But
it was very interesting to watch. This movie also triggered all of my ASMR tingles as Sam's measuring and sketching things out and cutting fabric. And I don't know if you know what ASMR is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Google it. It's got me tingling just watching all this stuff happen. And the first half of this film was mostly them talking in vagueness about things that they'd done to each other in the past. But soon you realize that these women have real trauma, and you're going to witness all of what they have inside them. And for me, once we got to the seance portion of this film in the late second half and the supernatural elements took over, I really struggled to stay engaged with this film. When it went from let's hash out our issues, and suddenly it's seance time and supernatural spirits are being unleashed. And I had a hard time with the last third of this movie, probably.
Is this considered a horror movie?
It kind of is. Not really a horror. It's definitely more of a thriller implies that there's something more fast-paced going. It kind of reminded me of, there was a film, a Jessica Chastain film a few years ago called Crimson Peak. That was a really weird, supernatural, freaky movie. This kind of had elements of that.
All right.
I started to lose interest towards the end of the film, which is unfortunate, because both Anne Hathaway was great, but Michaela Cole was wonderful in this film, and she was a strong force in this film, and I was really enjoying her. And I felt like once it veered away from the two actresses spinning dialogue into something crazy, I struggled with it. So yeah, it was very different, and it was billed as kind of you look on IMDb and musical is in the title. It's got some music in it, but just because she's a singer.
What was that acronym again?
Michaela Cole.
No, not the actor. The acronym you were using.
ASMR. I don't have time to get into it right now.
I've never heard of it.
Then you go on YouTube and start watching some ASMR videos. It's good stuff.
I don't know if I want to do that.
I've got some triggers. Anyways,
okay.
Mother Mary, our second Anne Hathaway film of the last 20 minutes. I give this one 3 stars. I think it could have been much stronger
Okay.
if it would have landed a little better for me.
Well, you got 3 more Anne Hathaway movies to go.
Yeah, we'll see where this leads us. All right, you saw another film that I didn't see. This is Solo Bolo time. What do you have for us?
Remarkably Bright Creatures. It's on Netflix, directed by Olivia Newman. So what do you get when you bring together a lonely cleaning lady, a young aimless drifter, and an octopus?
I heard this joke. Hold on, I know this
Well,
punchline.
you don't get Shape of Water 2, thank goodness. You get a lovely, touching, and tender-hearted movie called Remarkably Bright Creatures, starring Sally Field, the legendary Sally Field. She plays Tova, a widow who's grieving the loss of her husband and their teenage son. She cleans the local aquarium overnight when it's closed. And while she's cleaning, she talks to the only one who seems to understand her. And Jameson's going to hate this. A wise, elderly octopus named Marcellus. Marcellus not only likes to climb out of his tank and roam around every once in a while, he's also the narrator of the film.
Oh, no.
And he's voiced by Alfred Molina. And
Okay.
you know, animals narrating films, there's nothing new to that.
Yeah.
Remember The Art of Racing in the Rain, where the dog was
Yeah.
the narrator, Kevin
I've seen
Costner?
every Disney movie, too.
Yeah, yeah. So you've got Tova, you got Marcellus, and now you got Cameron, and he's an unemployed musician, and he lives in an old camper van. He comes to town to find his father, who he's never met, after his mom, a drug addict, died of an overdose. Cameron's played by Louis Pullman, who I'm really starting to like. Yeah. He's Bill Pullman's son. And Cameron and Tova develop a bond after Cameron takes over for Tova, cleaning the aquarium after Tova is injured. There's some supporting roles played by great older actors who unfortunately aren't given a lot to do. Colm Meaney plays the local shopkeeper. He's kind of sweet on Tova. Kathy Baker leads Tova's knitting group of friends called the Knitwits. But this movie really belongs to Field and Pullman. Their performances developed such a believable chemistry between the two of them. They really convinced me that everything they did, everything they said was real. And, you know, God bless Sally Field. She is a national treasure.
Yeah.
Her performance really got to me. There's times during this where she looks so vulnerable as she's trying to understand why her son just died, whether or not she should leave her longtime home to move to a retirement community. I wanted to reach into the TV screen and just give her a big hug, and I'm not a hugger. She's made so many great movies, and I just really loved her in this. And I know some people are asking, does the octopus really need to narrate this?
Yeah, I was asking that.
I was fine with that. I think it adds to how moving this story is, and it helped to strengthen the connection between Marcellus and Tova and Cameron. I know, you're rolling your eyes. You need to see it. It does get a little Hallmarky at times, and the ending's a bit of a stretch, but I was fine with that too. This is a one Kleenex box movie.
Jeez. I think this is your new scoring system.
I mean, it's not only sheep, but it's now octopuses that can just make me lose it. Make sure you have one nearby. You're going to need it. I love this movie. I really thought it was great.
This was a streaming film, right?
Netflix.
Netflix, okay.
Yeah.
Louis Pullman, I think it's great that two of our up-and-coming actors that I'm really interested in are both sons of great actors. Louis Pullman, Cooper Hoffman. I want to see these guys do something together, because I really like the trajectory both of these guys are on. Louis Pullman was in a couple movies last year that I thought he was the best part of.
Well, yeah. What?
So he was in. Was it last year? He was in the new, not Avengers. What was it? The
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Okay.
As the main villain in there.
Yeah.
And then there was another one a couple weeks after that I really enjoyed him in. I'm drawing a blank.
But I really like him.
Did the octopus, did its mouth move when it was talking?
No.
Okay, all right. So
They didn't go that far.
All right, just want to see.
It was just the narration from Alfred Molina as he's
That's
trying to understand the humans. And
Was he wearing glasses or anything?
no, it's not a cartoon.
I don't know. What did you end up giving Remarkably Bright Creatures?
I gave it a high 4 stars.
Nice.
I thought it was pretty remarkable.
All right.
You know me, I'm a softie when it comes to this stuff.
Over on Netflix.
I didn't know anything about this movie until
I didn't know. You said you were going to watch it. I said, I don't know what you're talking
Sally Field was on Colbert one night, and they're talking about this, and I went, "Really? She made a movie? That's I didn't know anything about
Yeah,
it."
she's reached a point in her career. She's making secret movies that you don't hear about. That's too bad because she was one of the greats.
I love her. She still is one of the.
All right, talking about one of the greats, I have a film that you didn't go see. It is Mortal Kombat 2 from director Simon McQuaid. It is a sequel to the 2021 reboot that focused on Cole Young. Here we have Tournament for the Realm of Earth. Emperor Shao Kahn has kidnapped young Katana to be his ward. Katana, played by Adeline Rudolph, to be his ward and his hero in the Mortal Kombat tournament, which his Outworld realm has won 9 consecutive tournaments, and that means if you win the 10th, then you win it all.
You get a set of luggage?
You get something, yeah.
Okay.
So Raiden and his team of superpowered humans, such as Sonya Blade and Liu Kang, grab Johnny Cage, played by Carl Urban, a washed-up action star who doesn't even do his own stunts, to join them in a bloody battle for Earth. And it's kind of a Three Amigos situation where, like, you're one of the great action stars. You're a great fighter. And it's like, I'm an actor. In fights, so this is based off the long-running video game Mortal Kombat. There's been
one of my all-time favorites,
and terrible movies in this franchise. I enjoyed the 2021 reboot of it. I thought that was a pretty good movie that kind of it disappeared during the pandemic era. Unfortunately, in this one, we have our fights. Sometimes these fights end with casualties. Loyalties are tested, and ultimately the future of our very existence hangs in the balance. But this movie sets out rules for the tournament and then spends the rest of the movie ignoring those rules. Sometimes, I guess, fights can end in a handshake in Mortal Kombat. Sometimes fighters just join a team in the middle of the tournament. Like, hey, I'm on this team now.
Well, isn't that how the video game works?
Sometimes fighters just come back from the dead when you're like, we beat them. Nope, I'm not dead. I'm only wounded. The A-plot is a father-daughter story between Shao Kahn and Katana that felt like something that was found on the bathroom floor of the Avenger Endgame writers. We'll just take that story and reuse it here. This was the least fun Mortal Kombat film I've ever seen, and that I saw Annihilation several times. That movie is a 0-star movie. But it felt like a throwback to when video game movies were guaranteed to be awful. For the longest time, you see a video game made into a movie, like, well, that's going to be awful. And then at some point with more recent films like the Sonic movies and such, like, oh, maybe they figured it out. This was not it. This was a dark CGI mess. You couldn't tell what was going on in a lot of the fights. Carl Urban was fine, but even he wasn't necessarily fun. He felt like he was kind of phoning it in. If a movie is going to be dumb like this, all I ask is just give the audience something to react to. I was in a fairly full theater opening night. A lot of people there were excited, and it was like a morgue in there. There was no action. So, like, at least if you're going to have a bad movie and there's going to be a kill or there's going to be something, let's all react, good, bad. Otherwise, nobody was reacting to anything. My audience was silent in that film, and that says a lot about...
It's my kind of audience.
Yeah, they were very quiet, man. Disturbingly so. Like I said, I enjoyed the 2021 version of this story. I thought it was a decent movie. This movie stunk and is possibly my least favorite movie of the year so far.
Really?
We're only into May, but I really didn't like this. Now, mileage may vary. I've talked to other people. I talked to another friend who saw it, and he was like, I really enjoyed that movie. I'm like, well, you have terrible taste in movies, but it's also an awful movie. Really bad. So, unfortunately, I ended up giving Mortal Kombat 2 1/2 of a star.
Ooh.
It got a 1/2 a star because, mostly because in the credits it played that great iconic Mortal Kombat theme song that I love from the early 90s, this techno song.
Don't know it.
You'll know. I'll get you dancing. I'll play. Look, okay, write that down with ASMR Mortal Kombat theme song. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 2, you needn't have bothered. That movie was trash.
Carl Urban, isn't he like the action star now that they recognize him, but they don't know his name?
Yeah,
isn't he that guy?
Yeah, kind of.
Was he in the series The Boys?
He was, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
he was trying in that. He was fun in that. This felt like he was just like, I've done that before. I can do that. I can do it again. So yeah, no good. Now, the last movie, we have another action film. What do you have for us?
Yeah, it's In the Gray, directed by action movie director Guy Ritchie. I'm going to butcher this name, and we just talked about her, I think, in the last show.
Oh, Isa Gonzalez?
Isa. Is it Isa
Yes.
Gonzalez?
Yep.
Okay. Isa Gonzalez plays attorney Rachel Wild, whose work lies somewhere between legal and illegal, hence the title, In the Gray.
Which she says in the first line of dialogue
Yes,
of the movie.
yeah, they leave no stone unturned in the narration here. Her specialty is to recover unpaid debt, very large debt, in this case $1 billion that's not being paid back to Wall Street banker Spencer Goldstein by crime lord Manny Salazar, played by Carlos Bardem, who's the brother of Javier Bardem.
That makes sense. He looks a lot like him.
Yeah, I looked that up.
All right.
Carlos, who's represented by a slimy attorney played by Fisher Stevens, who actually plays slimy really well, has no plans to pay the money back. So Rachel enlists the help of extraction specialists Sid and Bronco, just in case negotiations with Salazar go south. And Sid is played by Henry Cavill, or is it Cavill?
Cavill. Superman himself.
Yep. Bronco is played by Jake Gyllenhaal. There's really little to no background on these two macho guys other than Rachel sprung them from a jail a number of years ago, and they've been helping her ever since. That's all you really know about them. They did remind me, though, those two of us. I think we're kind of like we're kind of like Sid and Bronco.
I've always been a Henry Cavill type myself.
So the first half of this movie is kind of dull because it focuses mainly on the planning. Lots of planning for all the various scenarios that could go wrong during this extraction. They go through everything, and they not only tell you about it, they put text on screen to show you what the plan is for getting out of the, what could be these dicey situations, which are going to happen. It's the second half of the film where the action starts to kick in, where I woke up and I started to pay more attention as to what was going on. And, the action's fine. It kept me engaged, but there really is nothing new going on here that distinguishes this movie from others in the same genre. There's lots of gunfire, high body count, car chases, getting out of near-death situations. It's all there. Isa Gonzalez is Rachel. She's fine, but, it's a Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah.
Women are not the focus of Guy Ritchie movies. No. It's the testosterone that matters.
Yep.
Henry Cavill and Jake Gyllenhaal, I thought they were pretty indistinguishable from each other. Not a lot of character development, other than the fact that, after going through everything they went through, their clothes still look great.
Yeah.
No wrinkles. It was amazing. Carlos Bardem as Manny Salazar. Nothing new there. He's your typical
stereotypical
movie villain.
Yep.
You know what's funny? His head of security is an actor by the name of Christopher Hivju.
The redhead guy, right?
Yeah.
He plays that guy in everything.
And I said, I've seen this guy before. So when I got home, I looked him up. He's Scott the Scotsman in the Scott's lawn care commercials.
Yes, he is.
Did you know that?
Yeah, now that you say it. I mean, he
He's
plays
the
that
guy that says, feed your lawn, feed it.
He's from Game of Thrones, who I know him as, but he's also played like the head of security for bad guys in like 6 movies I've seen recently. But I like that, he is the Scotsman in that too.
You've probably seen every Guy Ritchie movie that's been made.
I think so.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of them, so I don't know how these stack up. This one stacks up against the others.
Guy Ritchie has a scattered past with his movies, but recently, I think over like the last 6 years, I think he's really kind of honed in on what he wants to make, and I've really started to enjoy his films, especially like the what was it now, the the last one, Henry Cavill and Chris Hemsworth was in it. It was about the genesis of Ian Fleming and the Bond character.
Okay, yeah.
That was really fun. I like Henry Cavill as an actor, and I want him to do fun things.
He doesn't do a lot here.
Unfortunately, I think this is about as close as he's going to get to be a James Bond, is to do Guy Ritchie movies, because I think he'd be a great Bond myself.
Well, they're auditioning for it now.
Right, but I think this is as close as he gets. But Guy Ritchie films of late, I feel like they mean there's a baseline of testosterone-filled violence in his films that I know I'm going to get that bare minimum. It's going to be fun. But there's also usually a humorous edge that I'm accustomed to. That was kind of lacking in this film. It was lacking the humor.
There's nothing funny here.
Yeah, I enjoyed this film. I mean, yes, we spent a lot of time setting it up. Guy Ritchie has a very specific aesthetic and style that he uses in all his films. The text on the screen telling you what's going to happen, that's in everything. Basically, like letting you know a half hour before something's going to happen, this is going to happen. You know, he shows you the gun, and you're like, well, that thing's definitely going to come into play. And so I enjoyed the action in this film. It's fun. Things blow up. I like Cavill and Gyllenhaal. Rosamund Pike is in this movie. It could have been anyone. She's a great actress. It really could have been anyone in her role.
Well, she's in his next one, which is coming out later this year
That
with
turns 'em
Benedict Cumberbatch, called Wife and Dog.
Oh,
no.
Get your Kleenex, buddy. That dog's going to blow up.
I hope not.
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie enough, just enough.
Yeah.
What did you end up giving In the Gray?
2.5 stars. It's
Yeah.
an average action movie.
Yeah, I gave it 3 stars. I like the 2 leads. It's a Guy
Were
Ritchie
you
film.
higher than me on
On everything?
On the ones
yeah,
that we both saw?
Yeah, I enjoy movies. What do you think about that?
I'm usually the optimist.
Yeah, next time
optimism.
you go watch Mortal Kombat 2, all right?
Okay.
I'll watch sheep getting sheared or something. That's the movies.
all that happens to them, kids. That's it.
That's all the movies for this month. Next month, we should have some really fun ones as we get into summer blockbuster season. We will have The Mandalorian and Grogu, which I'm going to go see as soon as we leave the studio.
He's so cute. Not the Mandalorian, but
I think
I didn't know Baby Yoda was named Grogu. When they first advertised that movie, I went, "Who's Grogu?"
This guy. Google that. All right. We also have the Masters of the Universe movie, which there's no way it could be better than the Dolph Lundgren one of the 80s. We also have Scary Movie 6. Disclosure Days. Steven Spielberg, Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, Coleman Domingo. This cast, aliens are making contact, proving that there's existence. How do we handle that? That looks really interesting to me.
Yeah, it does.
We also have a couple of films that we debuted at the Wisconsin Film Festival last month that received a lot of praise. The first one is The Furious, about a father who fights fiercely against ruthless kidnappers who have it out for his daughter. It's a kung fu movie. And we also have Power Ballad from director John Carney, who we love. Stars Paul Rudd, Nick Jonas, a washed-up wedding singer, has one of his songs covered by a former boy band star who takes all the credit for that success. That looks like a lot of fun. We'll also have The Death of Robin Hood from the guy who directed Pig and the most recent Quiet Place film. Stars Hugh Jackman, Jodie Comer, Bill Skarsgård. It's a dark and gritty film about an aging Robin of Locksley who must reckon with his past, and he's an outlaw in the present. And then lastly, talk about, this is a 2-tissue box movie, Toy Story 5.
Oh,
Our friends are
no.
back, but this time we have to find out, how do old toys stack up against new technology for a
Yeah.
child's interest? It's going to get me to hate my iPad? Is that what it's going to tell me? Oh,
Yes, it is. You won't be able to
love
use
it.
that again.
I know. Those are the films,
You
and
have to
maybe
get
some
your
more.
white glove out.
Get my white glove. I'm going to find a picture of me and in my whole
I
getup,
would
the red
love to
jacket,
see that.
hitting the Thriller moves. Whew.
You didn't really do that, did you?
Bet on it. I know there's pictures. Oh, man.
Was that like me in my bedroom dancing the Tommy James and the Shondells?
All right, I got something to look up myself now, I guess, when we leave here. Tommy James. Got it. I've never felt more of a generational gap than when I have this episode. All right, those are the films and probably a few more that we're going to be talking about on our next episode. So we look forward to you tuning in as we go and watch some of these movies to talk about next month. Before we leave, we want to give thanks to our friend Mara Trusty, who is here as our producer for this program, and everyone here at the award-winning Sun Prairie Media Center. Thank you for making this show possible. And until we reconvene next month, I'm Jameson.
And I'm Steve.
Have a great one.